Hello, this is the Big Redbourn Sleep Out diary, and it's now 7 o'clock and I'm outside Sainsbury's about to go and buy some hot dogs and hot chocolate. The car is full of cardboard, as you can see, and a guitar and lamps, and there's all kinds of stuff in the boot. Yeah, and I'll be at Redbourn soon. By the way, other supermarkets are available. And so, wearing only my trusty head torch, I am going to try and fashion these materials. We have some tape, and we have some boxes, and we have a penknife into a shelter of some kind for the Big Redbourn Sleep Out. Does my bum look big in this? So this is the inside of my shelter for the night. I've run out of tape, so I can't do any more. I'm getting quite nervous actually now. I know it's silly, well perhaps not so silly. I'm only going outside, and I'm someone who's been camping before, but the thought of just going outside and spending all night is starting to make me feel a little bit nervous, which is interesting. Well, it's nearly 11 and I'm trying to pull the shelter to the spot I found and put it by the fence. I hope it will get rid of some of the wind. Now it's out here, the shelter is fragile and it's going to blow away. So it's which way do I yes, it's roughly in one place. It's very windy out here, so I'm thinking I might need to go, there we go, somewhere else. There must be a lot of trial and error in all this, finding what works. This is where maybe if you meet other people who've done it before, they would tell you how to do it. But the first time it's a bit of a trial and error. I've just pulled out the sleeping bag and I managed to pick probably the one sleeping bag in the garage that doesn't have a working zip. So that's not good. But again, I suppose if you're out on the streets, you can't do anything about what you're given. If you're given stuff that's substandard, it's substandard. And this one won't be staying in the garage when it gets home, but I've got to use it tonight, so I just will. I'm really surprised at how unsafe I feel. I'm in the garden of a church that's locked. You can get in from the outside. I can get round the side if I needed to. You know, and Redbourne's a lovely area, and I'm not being very little chance of being hassled by anybody, but I just feel very vulnerable. So what it's like on a street in a town or in a city where there are lots of other people around, and you know that some of those may want to take advantage of you or not want you to be there, I don't know. The other thing I've noticed just in doing this is time, because I'm somehow out of my routine. How long it's taken me. Bedtime doesn't really seem to count. The night seems very, very long because I'm not looking forward to a nice comfy bed and a sleep and a nice wake up. So time seems interminably long, and the thought of, not having anything to fill the day tomorrow perhaps must be awful. So I was really pleased that one of the stewards popped down to see how I was getting on, and that offer of help and that offer of support was really valuable. Again, the kind word and someone to share a drink with, really appreciated. Yep, right, I'm going to try and get some sleep now. The wind's really picked up and I'm worried that the shelter's going to blow down, so I'm trying to kind of literally hold on to it. And I know I could go inside, but it is a bit scary, sort of, what if I lose this thing that I've got? Where would I go then if this thing gets taken away? Canopy has stayed in one piece, which is great. I'm starting to feel my body, my shoulders aching a bit from being in the one position on the hard ground. I think I understand now why you often see people without homes on the streets covered with cardboard. You and I, to shut out the world, we close the door, close the curtains, the bricks and mortar do the rest. Whereas out here, how do you shut out the wind and the rattling trees? And if you're in a city, it must be the cars and the traffic and the light. You just have to cover yourself with cardboard or with the sleeping bag, be completely immersed. I actually found it a real comfort just to bring the bit of cloth that's hanging over and dangle it and just put it over my head, so that just that little bit of barrier. Otherwise I've just been waking up every drop of rain or whatever. So it's 1:30ish. It's been raining quite hard, just kept me awake, and I've been worried about the shelter, but so far it's staying up just like me. Got some nice messages from folk praying for me. It is nice to know that people are thinking of you. How you do this on your own with no one to support you, I don't know. Hello, it's 3:30. It's all gone pear-shaped, or rather it's gone flat-shaped. The covering has just completely collapsed, and I've decided to endure the rain on my face rather than cope with a growing sense of claustrophobia with the wet, damp thing over the top and everything pressing down on me. I've totally lost the sleeping bag, don't know where that is, but I'm actually still dry and warm in my body, etc. So I'm just enjoying the morning rain on my face. So I've kind of imagined myself shifting from an urban to a city experience. So I'm on the floor outside the back of the garden room in Redbourn Church, which is covered but concrete. I have I confess I've availed myself of a cup of coffee and a croissant. So again, I'm imagining maybe someone's come past and had pity upon me and given me something, and it's very welcome. It's cold and a little damp. I was thinking earlier about how low one feels. I don't mean emotionally low, but you feel you're really dealing with the basics. You're really dealing with just keeping warm and dry So whether you can sleep or not is a secondary matter. You're trying to, but you feel low, as in at the bottom of the the list of needs. So this thing of finding shelter, having somewhere safe, having somewhere warm that you can rest in, is really what consumes you. And I think haven't really realised how much I take that for granted. Even, I think I said right at the beginning, is someone who has been camping, but you have all your kit and you have your tent and you have most things you need, at least. And it's a choice. As an experience, it's a choice. Even this, on a one night, although people would probably say, Stuart, it is a choice, you're doing this by choice. Putting yourself in the place of someone for whom this isn't a choice, and this is a necessity, a day-to-day thing. So, thinking, reflecting how important it is, how wonderful it must be when people are able to get a place of their own. Well, it's just turned 6:30, and I thank God that I have got through the night, and remember those who, unlike me, are not going to go into a cup of coffee and a wash, maybe some breakfast, and a warm building, and a community of people waiting to speak with me and worship together. So I'm appreciating sitting instead of lying, being comfortably warm. I think the moment that most sits with me is, for now, was just coming in and closing the door. And it's a silly little thing, but just coming in, closing the door behind me and shutting out the weather really felt significant. And I thought, that is something I do every day. I go in and out of my home, and when time comes for night, I just close the door. I don't really give it a thought. But I hope after this big sleep out, I will more often, when I close my door, think of those who don't have a door to close, who stay out there in the elements, trying to stay warm or dry or safe, with nowhere to put their things that is theirs, nowhere to put themselves that is theirs, and without the ability to do that shut thing. And I hope you too have enjoyed the diary, following the escapades, and I hope next year you'll be able to continue to support us and maybe even come and join us. I hope I haven't put you off with the collapse. So I'm going to sit here now. I'm doing morning prayer, and then I'm going to write a list of things to do differently next time, including what to do if it rains and where to go. Got a nice big church hall and stuff like that. Anyway, so thank you again for your support, and God bless you all.